Hey, Kohl's friends and family. Yup, that's you. Right now, you can get an extra 20% off your purchase. Stock up on all the tees your kids need for back to school. Graphic tees, character tees, striped tees, and more. Plus, snag some Kohl's Cash too. $10 for every $50 you spend. Kohl's Friends and Family sale is happening now through Sunday. Now that's the good stuff. Kohl's. Offer valid August 18th to 21st. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Welcome to LSD Radio. What you are about to hear is intended for listeners 18 years of age and older and is for entertainment purposes only. The Bad Habits Network must insist that no one attempt to recreate or reenact any activity described on this show. This podcast may contain lewd, crude, vulgar, sexist, racist, fascist, argumentative, disgusting, appalling, explicit, edgy, and downright offensive and or subject matter. For individuals easily offended, this may not be the program for you. We recommend turning this off now. Are they gone?
Yep. Fuck those guys!
Woohoo! Alright, tonight on LSD Radio, we are talking about everything anal.
What?
In the butt!
Yeah.
Anything and everything that you can come up with about anal sex will be talked about on this show.
What about anal
Everything.
foreplay?
Anal foreplay, just random insertion, prostate massage, rimming, a little bit of everything. We can go on for days about the buttholes.
Yeah.
But this is only an hour-long program.
But we only have enough time to fit a garden gnome up your ass.
The traveling gnome.
Right?
At least it's
He's
not
gonna go
working.
spelunking.
Mm-hmm. So, ass sex. Ass pleasuring. Do you enjoy the butt sex, Raven?
I love fucking butts.
Would you say that you enjoy fucking butts more than anything else?
Probably.
Yeah.
It is my favorite orifice to decimate.
No.
How about you?
If there were no more butts in this... Let's make this about you for right now.
All about Raven.
If there were no more butts in this world to fuck, would you be devastated? Would you be more devastated if there were no butts to fuck? Or more devastated if your penis no longer functioned?
Well, that comes about to the same thing, doesn't it?
He can still stick his hand in a butt.
It's true.
Right? I could totally still fist butts.
Mhm.
I could still give a rusty tuba.
Yep.
And so, not being able to fuck butts because my dick doesn't work, or not being able to fuck butts because there are no butts to be fucked. Why are there no butts to be fucked? Because if there's no butts to be fucked, that means there's no other living organisms, because every organism has a butt.
Not necessarily. Let's assume... Well, you like fucking human butts, right? Or do you like fucking any butts? Doesn't
well,
matter. Rhinoceros butt?
Be careful how you answer this.
Yeah.
I've never fucked a butt that wasn't a human butt.
But...
I don't know, I met some of your
That
exes.
sounded like...
No, those dogs don't count.
Them dogs still barking.
super loud.
So let's assume there are no more human butts. In
No
the
more.
world.
No more human butts. So what do we do about no more human butts?
Yeah, let's say we've evolved to the point where we no longer produce biological waste. So we don't have butts anymore. It just seals up.
We don't need a butthole.
We don't need a butthole anymore.
Well, then we don't need a mouth either.
No, you could still consume and take in matter to process into energy, but our systems have been so refined that we don't actually produce waste. Except for maybe, I don't know, a little sweat or something.
But
The
that
butthole
means-
seals up.
That means,
Totally
I don't get
theoretical.
that means I don't get to pee on my girlfriend anymore.
I don't know, maybe your penis still works. Maybe you can still pee.
Well,
you just
still
can't. You
your
just don't have a
penis.
butthole.
Yeah.
Just don't
No
have a
butts.
butthole.
Stop overanalyzing my freaking scenario.
I would rather my penis work and be able to fuck other holes than to not have my penis work and butt still be around.
Yeah.
But if you
Because-
could choose just one, like let's say when you, so whoever comes down and says, all right, you've got a choice. You can only fuck vaginas or mouths, or you can only fuck vaginas or butts or mouths. Which would you choose?
If you could only pick one orifice
Yeah,
for the
which
rest
one
of your
would you
life to
choose?
fuck.
Oh,
Oh, that's
butt.
easy, butts.
But
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
I
boys
can
got
answer
butts,
for
girls
him.
got butts. I'll fuck butts.
well, then let's say that further. What if you could fuck any orifice, but you had to pick one, and it couldn't be the butt? What would be number 2?
Oh,
Nostril, left one.
you might be hung that small.
Nope.
Specific.
I'm gonna mess up a lot of
It's-
people's faces.
Ding, ding, ding. It's not a size thing.
I was going to say, does it really matter considering how big a butthole really is? And think about the shit that you stick in there.
Oh, but that stretches. There's not bones around that.
No,
So
you
do
need
your
to answer
nostrils.
answer the
And there's
question.
technically no bones in
If
your
you
nose.
could pick one other orifice, you couldn't do the butt anymore, but you could do one other orifice, pick one. Which one would it be?
I would have to say it would be the mouths. Again, boys and girls have mouths. Boys don't have vaginas.
No,
It,
you can
it
do
limits my
docking.
fuckability by half.
There's always docking.
I'm not real sure how that's going to work.
It's not really fucking a hole, though.
Yeah,
Well, you can always do the urethral sounds and stretch it out.
We're getting distracted away from our mission here, which is to
we're
talk
talking,
about
we're talking
butts.
about butts.
Well, actually,
We'll
we
talk
kind
about
of
fucking urethras later.
we sidelined into messing with
two
Raven here.
fingers and twist.
Yep.
Woo!
Now,
So Raven's a butt man. How
what,
about
what
you,
sort of
Lord?
what sort of foreplay do you do before you do butt stuff?
That's my foreplay.
There's foreplay?
If she hears me hawk
I'm
up
sorry.
a big old loogie,
I have two witnesses here. Does he even bother to hawk a loogie half the time?
More than half, yes.
More than half.
I wouldn't say all the time,
Uh huh.
but definitely more than half.
Fur.
If you're lucky.
Is that
If
exactly
he's
what
feeling
he,
generous.
is that exactly what he says?
she takes
too?
it as really lucky because usually it's the two of us tag teaming her, and Pet loves to pull out the anal speculum and jam that thing in her and gape her nice and big before I fuck her in the butt.
Well, see, but that would be foreplay.
Right.
I mean,
That's
you've
her
gone in there,
foreplay, though.
stretched
That's
out
not
the-
my foreplay.
Raven
I'm
don't
not
give a
gonna
fuck.
do her.
Raven's gonna stick it in the butt no matter what.
I
Trapped or otherwise.
do like to fuck the throat and get the nice deep spit on there, so I have to spit on it less.
Or not at all.
Or not,
Or not at all.
And if they vomit, that's just even better.
Right?
It's all
Just add
Please
it loose.
cross-reference
remember
our
that
previous
first.
show.
Hawk a big loogie on there. If you think he's about to go for the butt, just make sure you just
Now,
and make sure you just get a big gobber on there so that you have as much lube as you can produce.
so we've gone straight to butt fucking. Are you the kind of person that prefers someone to prepare before you plunder their nethers? Or are you just a dirty pirate?
I do like to give an enema
Yeah.
before.
But it's not
sometimes.
a necessity?
No.
The enema of my enema is my friend.
Right.
In
I mean,
fact, that happens far less frequently than the just jamming her in there.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't care
Surprise!
about poopy dick?
Well, sometimes you get carried away in the moment, and you're
Surprise
just
butt
like,
sex.
Surprise butt sex.
Surprise, butt sack.
How about you, ladies, as the recipients of Raven's plundering affection? Do you prepare to pre-clean, or do you just not give a fuck because he's the one that has to deal with it?
That answer. Because if he wants to stick his dick where shit comes from, he's going to get some shit on it, and that's not my problem. He can go wash it off. It's attached to him.
Gotcha.
Fur, your thoughts.
My thoughts? With somebody like Raven, he doesn't really give you the chance all the time. So
He never gives you the chance.
No.
Unless it's part of the playtime. He's like, oh, here, I want to give you an enema. That's when
No.
you get one beforehand. That's really all that ever happens. It's part playtime.
Huh. How about you, Lord? Are you a fan of the butt sex?
I am perfectly fine with the butt sex in general. I do not have the obsession with it that certain next to me do. Because to me, it's purely a sensation thing. It's like, oh, my hedonistic side accepts the fact that this is a different sensation. But otherwise, it's a whole. You just sort of pound it, you know? I understand that someone here has a lot of psychological aspects involved in it. There's a form of dominance and,
Oh, sure.
and all that.
It's a power play.
But
Naughty.
to me, it's like, that's a hole too. Yeah, that hole requires more work. Every now and again, that's kind of fun. Like going on vacation, you know it's going to take a little bit more work, but, you know, screw it, it's a lot of fun.
So what you're saying is Twinkie's butthole is your vacation home.
Damn, Skippy.
A vacation home that he does not get to visit all that often.
No, he
I
doesn't,
would
but
like
every
to
time
point
I'm
that
like,
out.
oh yeah, Tahiti.
Nice.
Korea, Tahiti. All right.
Tahiti's a magical place.
It's a magical place.
It's a magical
It's somewhere
place.
in Korea.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
it is somewhere in Korea.
Do you get your passport stamped?
Mushroom stamped.
Yeah, that's about the only kind of stamp.
So, Daddy, how about you? What is your affinity to the butt stuff?
Oh, I'll do it. I don't mind fucking butts. I mean, as
Don't
we've always
mind?
referred to me, I am, some German. There's some German in me.
Right.
So,
There's some German
at
in
least
you.
Want to put some German in
Want to
you?
put some German in you? At least biologically, I should have an affinity for the butt love. I don't mind it. I enjoy it. It's good times. It's not a necessity in my life. It is something that is fun that I enjoy. So, yeah. Fucking butts. Good times.
Hell yeah.
Especially when you go ass to mouth.
ATM?
ATM.
No.
It's an advanced maneuver.
Yes.
No.
Well, but here's
None.
here's my question.
No poop
so
in my
when
mouth.
you have a new partner
Mm-hmm.
who is not used to the butt stuff, what kind of preparation do you do for them? I'm guessing you do nothing.
Well,
Everyone does nothing.
it depends. Are you defining a new partner like
No, just
someone that I'm just getting involved with that I want to keep around, or new partner as in like, hey,
Never
you're a
had
one
the
night
ass sex
stand and
before?
I want to chase you away and scare the shit out of you.
Or
No,
the third
I'm talking
option,
about-
a
Come here,
person
Let me
who's-
wreck that ass.
I'm
or a person
sorry.
who's never had the ass sex
Yeah,
before.
somebody who has never had the ass sex before. Do you, like, I know that when we started doing the butt stuff, we started out with, like, anal training with different sized
What's
buttons
anal
and things.
training, Twinkie?
What's anal training? Well, we got ourselves a nice set of butt plugs,
Graduated size.
Graduated.
graduated
butt plugs.
size, and we started with one, and we did not do anything with the butt. We just inserted it and had sex. And then we gradually worked our way up to the big one, and after the big one was
The bigger
good,
one.
After you've graduated.
after we graduated to the next size, and when I graduated from the whole set, then we did the anal.
That
the
you get
anal
rewarded
stuff.
with a big old dick in your ass.
Yes, a big injection of Jugu.
Yeah.
She's got a little Jew in her.
I got a lot
stream.
Yeah, and then,
Got a lot
after
of
that,
Jew.
she rebalanced our finances, and it was great. But
Yeah.
I opened up a bank and
she saved us 12% on our monthly bills.
So back to the important part.
Jew rubs off, okay.
So Raven doesn't give a fuck.
Yes,
Well,
the Jew
you
rubs
do.
off
I don't
quite a
know.
bit,
Do
thank
you
you.
ever give a fuck when it comes to first-time anal for your new recipients?
somebody
If it's
gave
a
me
one-night stand discard, you don't even know their name, you'll never meet them again. Are you just a wham bam thank you ma'am if you're bleeding out your butthole?
I will wreck that so they can't sit down.
So how's it any different from your normal play?
If I plan to have sex with them again in the next 72 hours, I try not to wreck it that bad.
because he wants to do it again.
Right?
And then they won't be able to walk right, and they'll be shitting funny for a week.
So when you're with
Pineapple!
so when you're with a new person who you want to keep around, have you actually ever used lube?
Yeah. I have.
I'm
Not
just
spit or
Not-
devil
not-
spit.
actual
Not to
lube.
hold up the lampshade on the side of the bed.
Not a here bite down on this bottle.
Sometimes the lube is worse because he's pushing, and as soon as it just gives a little bit, it's like boom, it's in there, and you're like, oh, I'm not ready. So
Not
sometimes,
yet, not yet.
sometimes a little bit of extra friction
I'm
means
sorry,
it goes
Pet.
in
It's like
more.
what again?
Boom, I'm not ready.
You were so excited last time. Come on.
No, but
The
it's,
second time around, it's looser then, apparently, yeah.
yeah, it
Anyway.
is. You just drop it in that time.
Sometimes an overuse of lube means it is a little too slippery. And when you're pushing a little bit, you're like, shh,
Just let it
Just
happen.
let
let it happen. Just and then all of a sudden, you reach that point where you're like, hey, straight line in, and
Boom! Past the third.
and suddenly you're looking down and all your pearls are inside, and your balls are slapping her in the vulva, and you're like, yeah! And she's like, ah!
Who fucking uses vulva anymore?
Vulva.
I picked it up because one of our friends had a vulva necklace.
Yep.
Vulva.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. Vulva necklace.
In the vulva.
That you know.
Was she in her vulva?
We
We
touch
should
my
get
vulva.
we should get a big old brown eye necklace then for you.
I love how your support group over here is over
Chocolate
there
sour
holding
cream.
hands like, be strong, be
You
strong.
can do this. We can do
Make it
this.
through this.
We can talk about this trauma. We can talk about it.
2 against 1. We'll win. We will win.
So, speaking of trauma, what kind of trauma can happen from anal? Whether-
Oh,
whether-
all sorts of
all
stuff.
sorts
of-
Right.
Not even just anal sex. Any sort of anal penetration can lead to a wide variety of different things, ranging from simple discomforts all the way up to probably time to call the ambulance and get an emergency trip to the emergency room. You know,
Pink sock.
simple things. So that's
Yes.
on a little bit more of the extreme end,
Right.
but on the short end of the stick, there's anything from simple abrasions all the way up to tearing. You can just some people have very delicate skin. It is granted, for all intents and purposes, the sphincter is a muscle, so it is built to stretch and flex out. However,
The skin around it is not.
The skin around it can be abraded, but the muscle itself can also be torn.
Yep.
Much like, without proper stretching and training, when you go running, it is possible to pull your asshole just like you can pull a hamstring.
Yeah. Well, they
So-
were saying
I got a
that,
pulled bunghole.
well, but they were saying like
Don't
porn
pull a
stars
hammy.
who have been in the business for a long time and they did a lot of anal.
Yep.
they actually have a hard time holding in.
Yep. So it is possible to overuse it.
Because it's been too stretched, too long,
Exactly.
too many times, and then they can't get it tight.
No, not to scare people away. So
Yeah.
we're not saying that you go fuck
But
your friend in the ass a couple times and all of a sudden you're shitting pancakes.
No,
left and right.
these were people who had been in it for years.
They're also
and
the kind of anal that most porn stars have, I would say, especially if you get into more kink or BDSM related porn, where it tends to be more hardcore, more heavy impact. That's a lot of action, a lot of repeated anal action that most people, even those of us that are fucked up in the kink scene, don't necessarily experience on a regular basis. So, yes, it is possible to blow someone's O-ring out by constant butt fucking. Not very typical. You're a lot more likely to cause excessive anal stretching if you engage in activities like anal gaping, where you're purposefully stretching out the asshole and keeping it stretched out for long periods of time.
Well, and the thing is, too, is I think that people don't quite understand when you talk about porn, like, oh, they just shoot the whole scene all at once. No, this 10-minute scene probably took them 2 hours to shoot, and it's been constant, fucking, or, hey.
For industrial film.
Yeah, hold that right there. Don't move, because we got to get stills, too.
Yep.
So it's a little bit more in-depth than just your
exactly.
usual, hey.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
we're gonna have
you take all the usual precautions. Don't just go in there and just start jackhammering away. Don't take a look
buy
at the
the
internet.
Ass Master first.
Don't buy the Ass Blaster 5000 and think that you're going to take the whole Liberty stick up your butt on the first try. Now, of course, buyer beware. We are risk aware and all about the consent here. So if your end goal is to go sit on that cone out in the parking lot and stretch your asshole wide open, and the only thing you've ever had up there is your pinky or a pencil, if that's your thing, go for it. Just realize that there may be consequences.
Yeah,
we
do not recommend pencils.
Up to and including, depends on the end. The racer end's not so bad. Up to and including,
you're not
although I
supposed to
generally
sharpen
recommend
it
toothbrushes.
first.
No, not at all.
Well, no, but you've got that metal ferrule that can actually scratch and tear up the inside.
Yeah, that's why you just make sure you got a little extra poop in there to pad it in.
Shitler.
Isn't that when you duct tape it?
Or duct tape it, that works too.
Duct tape it.
What about electrical tape? Will that work?
Probably.
Painter's
But
tape?
yeah, so
Any sort of tape.
yeah,
I would imagine that painter's tape would probably be a bad idea, because I would imagine that would absorb moisture, whereas like an electrical tape would not. Therefore,
much,
it
yeah.
would actually work better.
I don't know if you're going to absorb enough moisture for it to cause significant dehydration to the anal mucosa.
No, I'm not talking
No,
about that.
but
Just you're gonna
for
pull it out,
abrasion,
it's gonna be
if
covered.
it's pulling in
Oh.
moisture as opposed to
Yep.
locking it out,
Yep.
it can lead to a lot more abrasions, and then
Yep.
you've got anal fissures and.
Well, all things considered, we are talking a little bit on the extreme end. Like, we're pounding away at your asshole and we're going to blow your, intestines out. Take in mind that even with the gentlest of care and taking all the precautions, it is still possible to tear the intestine, right? So I guess the general rule of thumb is obviously take things slow, work your way up a little bit. But if you do experience anal bleeding, and we're not talking like there's a little bit of blood because they tore a little bit of the skin around the outer edge. We're talking about like I'm shitting
part's
blood
called
for
lube.
the next day or so. Go see a doctor. And that could happen from fucking with cocks, fucking with dildos, fucking with fists, fucking with toys, fucking with anything. You could even
The dead
technically
bird
do
carcass
it
you found in the
with a
parking lot.
pinky up the ass that happens to have a long fingernail on it, and you happen to lacerate the bowels.
Yeah, for God's sake, trim your nails. But
yeah.
I don't care what you see a porn star do, trim your nails.
Yeah.
The other thing to point out at that point, since we're already talking about potential damage, is the extremely increased probability when you're talking about biocock of transmission of sexually transmitted diseases.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not only a mucous membrane, but it's one that's likely to be damaged. It is one that's likely to actually have blood contact.
It also has a significant absorption rate higher than most external mucosa.
Yep. So
That's why the kids were using the butthole to get drunk.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
drugs.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, no, we
Yep.
had this wonderful discussion in a cigar bar. Tell us all about this, Twinkie.
Well, kids were, they wanted to get drunk. Mostly it was women that I had heard about it first, but they were soaking tampons and things like that in vodka or whatever. Then they would insert it into their vagina. They would become very drunk very fast because the mucous membranes just sucked it all up, and it doesn't go through the filter of your liver or anything like that. It's just instantaneous drunk. But to the point where these kids were getting alcohol poisoning right off the bat because it didn't filter through the liver at all. It just went straight into their bloodstream, so they got very sick. But you can also do the same thing with your butt. I have seen people do like beer bongs in their butt.
Yep.
Oh.
Thank you, jackass.
Yes.
Stupid fuckers.
I gotta imagine that foam, that fizzy carbonation tingles and tickles a little
Your
bit.
butt got head.
Yeah. Now, take in mind that there's a significantly higher concentration of capillaries and other venous structure within the bowels compared to the vagina. So, if you thought that you could get drunk just by pouring, some alcohol into your pussy, magnify that by about 10 to 20 fold for the obviously beer bonging it.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, there's all the Urban Dictionary stories of some woman trying to pleasure her husband, and he couldn't get it up anymore, so she thought that she could, or he couldn't drink anymore because he was an alcoholic, and so she figured, well, he can't drink it because he's got throat cancer. Well, I can pour some cooking sherry up his ass, and ends up killing the guy because he gets, obviously blood poisoning from alcohol. But yeah, I mean, some people have played around with it. Again, buyer beware. Much like extreme anal penetration. Putting some alcohol in your butt in moderation could be a little fun, but you will get drunk as fuck very quick.
Yes.
Especially if you've got a low tolerance. So not necessarily something that's recommended for the inexperienced.
Probably just not recommended in general.
Not to mention, depending on the proof of the alcohol, you could even potentially cause alcohol burns or chemical burns on the skin. Mm-hmm. So taking that bottle of Everclear that you just bought and think you're going to pound that up your frat boy's butt, not a good idea.
You will kill them. They will die.
You will, yes.
I don't know, but I'm sorry, if you're agreeing to that, on the other hand, that's sort of like passive eugenics. I'm not sure it's a bad idea. An individual like that probably should not be breeding.
Survival of the fittest.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a strong believer in natural selection. We remove all the warning labels and just let them sort it out.
The one I heard that I used to love is, open bear hunting season with broadswords.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you mentioned pink sock earlier. This is one last little thing within our discussion of safety and things that could possibly go horribly wrong. So the pink sock, or effectively the anal prolapse, is when effectively one of two things has happened. Either the sphincter is no longer able to hold the intestines in, and somebody has either defecated and caused the intestines to distend outside of the sphincter, or it is entirely possible with enough anal brute force and suction to actually cause the intestines to extract out of the anus. I.e., please do not use a vacuum cleaner to suck on your butthole. It's generally a bad idea. Also, be careful. Also, be careful around pool suction.
Yes, yes, because there's that urban legend of the person who.
Yeah, it's not a legend. There are several documented cases where small children have been too close to the suction in a pool, especially when it's gone into full cycle, and the kid's butthole got stuck up against the vent, and it has pulled their intestines out.
Well, the one that I
several
heard
medical
was somebody was
instances
using it to pleasure themselves.
Oh yeah,
On purpose, and that's what I had.
it's probably a little
That's
bit
the
safer to
other
put your dick in there than to put your asshole up against it, but I wouldn't recommend either.
No.
Yeah, well, with the dick, you'd at least survive, but there's survival and then there's survival,
Yep.
Colostomy
boy.
It just comes a point where you're just like, no. I like being a guy too much to really risk that.
Well, if you're not talking about getting all the way to the pink sock, I have seen on plenty of porns the rosebud.
Oh, totally.
Where just the O-ring flips itself inside out because you just got done really fucking the hell out of the hole and she pushes out a little bit and it just kind of pop.
Yep, puckers out a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, that's not so bad. There's not a ton of long-lasting effects to that. Now, one could argue that if you're if you're rosebudding yourself significantly and often, that's what potentially leads up to things like the pink sock. But again, everything in moderation, right? Unless you're into that sort of thing. There's plenty of people in the I shouldn't say plenty of people, but there is a subculture within the kink scene or within BDSM scene, especially amongst the gay community, where extreme anal stretching to the point where they want to be able to pink sock themselves is a thing. People get off on it.
And a word to the wise: if you haven't seen One Man, One Jar,
Don't
put
Google it.
hollow glass things inside your rectum.
I recommend to go Google it, though. Go check it out. It's wonderful.
Right, if you're thinking about shoving glass pickle jars in your asshole, watch this video first
It's instructional.
of what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, along the lines of a rosebud and a pink sock, I've always liked the concept that you put the anal beads in, and then you try to start the person like a chainsaw.
Oh, yeah.
You have to give that cord a nice hard pull. Well, I've since been instructed that that's not necessarily the right way to pull out anal beads.
Nope, especially depending on the size of beads that you're using.
But I don't have a tendency to use anal beads.
Also depends on the strength of the cord.
I use anal hooks. And you know those graduated balls on them? They usually when one of them goes, the next couple are real fast to follow and coming out.
Yep.
By the way, for any of our listeners who have no idea what the hell an anal hook is and are imagining something to do with a horrible fishing fetish,
Yar, matey.
let's go ahead and make this clear. An anal hook is a surgical grade stainless steel hook-shaped item, but instead of a sharp or barbed tip, it has a round ball tip.
Or multiple balls.
Yep, the
In a snowman shape.
The
Yep.
snowman, yeah.
Yep. What are they typically used for?
Hooking anuses
No shit. Where have you seen anal hooks typically used?
in the butt.
That's great. Thanks, Lord. I appreciate it. I'm gonna
You're
stick my
talking to
anal
someone
hook
that
in my
actually
ass now.
generally doesn't use them all that much. I'm
Yep.
just familiar with what they are, and I know that our listeners may not be. Raven,
Yes.
what do you use your anal hook for?
Well, I like to hook them into people's holes, butts
Uh-huh.
and vaginas alike. And I like cramming lots of things in there all at once. So having an anal hook in either side and like tying some rope to it and trying to stretch them and break them in half and things like that.
Yep.
I also like to shove the hooks in there and then fuck the hole while the hook is in there.
Yeah.
So you're using them for the most part typically as a type of dildo.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Where I've seen them typically used is in many cases rope suspension, or technically any sort of suspension, but rope suspension typically, where
Well, also
while
rope
it is
bondage.
not or rope bondage, where it is not typically used as a load-bearing point, because you could potentially fuck someone up pretty seriously. It can be used to obviously add some sort of elevation to the hips, or as a control point within within some rope work to obviously add an additional bit of anal pleasure or pain to your victim. I mean, consenting volunteer.
Well, no, usually when I see it, it's more a matter of they'll take the anal hook and they'll actually attach it by rope to a ponytail
Yep.
to make your girl
Predicament
keep her head
bondage.
back.
Yep. It's widely used in predicament bondage. So if they move incorrectly or move in the wrong direction, then yeah, it tugs on the ass hook, which obviously applies more anal pressure. Right, Fur?
Right.
Fur, how do you feel about anal hooks?
I like them.
Mhm.
I think they're a lot of fun.
Okay.
So
Which does bring up another colorful point as far as one of the uses of anal insertables. Sometimes it's not just about the anus. If you're using something that is large and textured enough and or vibrates, it can actually add an extra stimulation to vaginal sex because it changes the contours of the internal structures and can possibly add vibration.
Or penile sex. Let's not be exclusionary. Vibrations can travel through the anus and up the penile shaft. So
You mean through the prostate?
well, it's not just the prostate, but
Wow.
yes. So it can obviously pleasure the person who has it in their ass and pleasure their prostate. But the vibrations, if they're strong enough, can also go up the cock and into your partner. So
Raven,
the next
have you ever
time,
tried that?
Yeah.
I've never shoved a vibrator in my ass and fucked somebody, sorry.
So put that on your to-do list tonight, ladies. Vibrator up Raven's ass while he's fucking you in the butt.
going up his butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, otherwise it wouldn't really have that
No,
whole
fair enough.
transference.
Fair enough.
And because we really didn't put this on the list tonight, but I'm going to throw it in there because it's another form of play.
Oh, I bet you will just throw it in
Oh,
there.
I'll throw it in there. Electric insertables.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have insertables that can be hooked up to a TENS unit to activate muscles on the inside of the body, usually vaginal, but they do have anal versions. that can cause it to feel like a dildo sliding in and out, even though it's stationary, and it's an electrical toy, and it can be, of course, ramped from sensation to pain depending on your personal interests.
Can you crank them up so high that the person shits themselves?
I don't know.
We should find out.
I will ask.
Put that on the to-do list.
I can find the message.
Because uncontrolled shitting, that's awesome.
Brown note?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you want to find the brown note?
Cosby mudslide.
And back to the scat show, folks.
It's kind of unavoidable. I mean, like, let's be honest. If you're going to engage in activities with the butt, poop might be involved.
There's a
Not
lot of
the end
people
of the
that are
world.
really against the idea of poop being involved when it comes to the butt sex. They're like, no, we're not having anal sex if there's anything involved with
Nope.
shit. You're fucking the hole that it comes out of.
It's called collateral damage.
How are you going to guarantee that there's no poo in there? Even a
You
high
can't.
colonic is not going
Yep.
to stop it, because all you're doing then is snow plowing the highway for the next BM to come rocketing down.
Yeah, so I mean, you can never clean the bowels to the point where, well, technically you
Not
can.
safely.
You can never safely clean the bowels to the point where there is no E. coli in there. And let's be honest, what is really bad about the poopy is the E. coli in it, right?
Right.
So
E. coli.
it is impossible without, destroying someone's anal biology and flora and fauna to completely clean the asshole, even with the most invasive of colonics. So if you have an interest in the butt and you want to put things in the butt or fuck the butt or do things with the butt, you can minimize the potential collateral damage, but you will never be able to reduce it or to reduce it completely.
Right.
So either accept the fact that you might have to wash a little dookie off your hands or your dick or your finger or your nose, whatever, and get over it.
Or that you're
give
going to
up
get someone
fucking butts.
sick while you're doing ATM. You know,
Right.
If you go from ass to mouth, you run the risk of getting someone really sick.
Yep. Technically, the only E. coli that is generally safe is your own, but that's even not 100% true.
You could always have a transfusion with somebody that has...
That's a real thing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. There
Yeah.
are medical procedures where somebody, for whatever reason, typically as a result of extreme illness, and in some cases, if somebody is under extremely heavy antibiotics, it is possible to kill off all the good bacteria in your body, including all the E. coli that makes up, the flora and fauna in your intestines. And one of the scientific breakthroughs was to do exactly that, a poo transfusion.
Yeah,
Okay.
transfusion!
Take poo from someone else, put it in your ass, and it recolonizes your ass with bacteria.
Okay,
E. coli.
seriously, Fur, you're over there losing it. Would you like to share with the class why it is that you're like trying not to fall out of the chair while laughing
Have you
yourself?
undergone a transfusion?
No, but every time somebody says it, I can't help but laugh.
Just
You've never engaged in dirty docking before, have you?
So
That's when two people put their assholes together and they pass poop back and
I
forth.
have not.
Yeah, I don't
have
recommend
not.
it.
The two girls have actually made it very, very, very clear that having a transfusion between the two of them is a hard limit.
Unless it's
If I-
medically necessary.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
If I want to
There's no
jump from butt to butt, that's when I need to have a
Female
barrier.
condoms.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend, if people want to play the round the world game and go ass to mouth to vag to ass to whatever, or between partners, female condoms are really, really, really good for anal sex, where you don't necessarily have to change a condom in between every plundering.
Right.
You stick the vaginal or the female condoms in each of the buttholes you're going to go after, or a female condom in her vagina and in her butthole, or in his butthole and his partner's butthole. And you can go from hole to hole like whack-a-mole. It's good times.
Welcome
Yeah.
back, Pet. How do you feel about transfusion?
I think it's hilarious, and I died the first time I thought of that word. And I'm like, it's a transfusion. I think, in a medical sense, it makes perfect sense, but also it's disgusting.
And sometimes medically necessary.
I mean,
yeah.
you hope you never need to receive a transfusion.
I don't want to need a
But
transfusion.
if you ever needed one, would you accept one from Fur?
yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's going to accept one from anybody, because
If
the
she
end
needs
result
one.
is you die if you don't.
Well, I don't know. I think if you have an option, though, you prefer it be someone you care about. You know.
We
I don't
sure.
know. Depends
we
on the
sure-
condition you're in.
Really?
really.
real question is, how do they actually conduct the procedure? Is there an option to go asshole to asshole?
I'm pretty sure there is.
Because if there is, I'd be like, doctor, I mean, come on.
Well, usually the home version involves a blender and a turkey baster, but
That's not clinical enough to do an ass-to-ass docking thing.
I mean, yours is all gone at this point. All that's left is hers. You can definitely go asshole to asshole and just spread it or squeeze it in. Yeah, it'd be like those little Play-Doh extruders.
Well, you see, what you do is you stick the one receiver with the anal speculum, stretch it nice and wide open, and then the giver, you jam a pig hole in there so they can't clamp it down.
What's a pig hole?
A pig hole is like a butt plug, except for it's hollow through the middle, so things can pass in and out of the anus. So,
And you can still fuck it, because you can't do that with a speculum.
right.
Unless you're really, really masochistic.
Or if
Or
you want,
tiny.
If you want your dick
Or
tore
both.
up. So you just sit one on the bottom with their ass up in the air with the speculum holding their butt open, and you take the one on the top, put the pig hole in it, and you make sure that you fed them some chocolate or something that'll loosen them up a little bit, and then you just kind of give the top one a squeeze, and it'd be like a soft serve extruder into the bottom one.
really strong coffee and Taco Bell.
Right. Oh, the Taco Bell might make spicy poops. Oh, the person receiving would have spicy poops coming in.
Hey,
I'm
Raven,
an evil genius.
do you have any good stories about spicy butt sex?
Oh, spicy butt
I hate
sex.
you.
Tell us
I
about the
just want you
spicy
to know
butt
there's
sex.
a tiny bit of hate in my heart for you for that suggestion, just saying. And you've got a couple. Get a couple tick marks in there.
So we're at this summer cookout, and Daddy over here says, "Oh, look, they have Famous Dave's Devil's Spit barbecue sauce in squeeze packets." I'm like, "Oh, great! Should take some of this home and use it for lube." And Daddy's like, "Yeah, anal lube. That'd make great anal lube." Well, listeners.
It does not. It does not. No matter what he says following this, it does not make
It
great
works really
anal
well.
lube.
Perfect consistency.
You don't feel the grittiness
I
of the
hate you,
spices
Daddy.
and things in
I have
there.
daddy
It
issues
is
right now.
fairly slick. But the tingling, burning sensation that one receives from the spices in Devil's Spit barbecue sauce, it was tolerable from my end until, of course, it got into my urethra. From her end, she cursed me out until she realized how much pain I was in, and then she
At which point I claimed victory. I won.
My ass is stronger than your penis.
my anus is bleeding.
So's your penis.
So what you're saying is that there was no good to that situation?
None, and I
Okay.
knew that he was
Except the
gonna
story.
Get,
The
I-
story's
Except the
great.
story, right?
The story's great.
I was really, really, really hoping in my heart of hearts that my karma was good enough that he would suffer repercussions. It's the only reason I agreed to it. And I came out the winner because I took one for the greater badness of his wang.
So for the listener, the next time that you're going to use devil spit as lube, wear a condom.
Yeah.
Or if you're the femdom and you want to make him hurt for it, put it in the condom for him.
Ooh. Yeah.
Ah, jeez.
Or just coat the the dildo down when you're about ready to peg him.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Hey, what's pegging?
Oh, pegging! Alright, so we've gotten onto the topic of pegging. The anal sex with a non-biocock, typically run by a female. The
Into a
stereotypical pegging is a woman fucking a man in the butt with a strap on.
Mm-hmm.
That's stereotypical pegging. Pegging in any sort could obviously include any type of butt sex that is done with a phallic object attached rather than an actual biopenis.
Pineapple?
Pineapple. If you were to strap a pineapple between your legs and fuck somebody in the butt with it, you'd be pegging them with pineapple.
It'd just be Hawaiian pegging.
Hawaiian pegging. No, that's what the
Pegalooga-leaky-laka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there'd have to be some ham
Canadian
involved.
bacon.
Are
Canadian
you here?
bacon.
Are you here
The
for the
Wanahaka
luau?
Loogie section, yes.
Well, I mean, you'd be pegging
Here's
them
your
with
leg.
your bacon.
Right.
All right, now we're going to take a brief sojourn here into the land of responding to one of our listeners on the subject of the human centipede that we brought up earlier.
Woo woo! My favorite subject.
So
Yes.
one of our friends I'm not even sure exactly. Thinikaman? I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
sure how he
Yeah.
pronounces this.
Snickerman.
Snickerman.
Thinikaman.
For all of you, yeah.
Yeah, he is a wonderful individual who has consented to being the center of a human centipede, after of which he tries sutures in his lips. So this boy has thrown himself into the most intense position of the 3-person centipede by not only agreeing to have his face sutured to someone's asshole, but also to have his asshole sutured to someone's face.
Although he did specifically say, it would have to be the right ass to
Right.
be sutured to.
Yep.
Right.
So not yours.
So
No, if it was
what
my...
happens if you have to sneeze because the hair tickles?
Yep, that's the thing. If you're using my ass, then you just take the hair and thread the needle with it and then suture to his face using my butt hair.
So did he define what makes it the right ass?
No, he hasn't given us
No,
qualifications.
he just said, but it had to be the right ass. So
Yep.
I'm presuming it would be an ass he would agree to. He'd
gotta
have
be
to
the
meet
right
the ass.
Take a look.
Make sure he
wrong
knew the ass well,
I'm thinking it might be an ass he might get to fuck later would be the right ass. I don't know.
After it's nice sore bloody ass for later. Yeah.
Right?
It's right on my
He
alley.
could tongue fuck it while he's down there. I mean, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Toss that salad. Why?
No,
Because you're not leaving.
Yeah, mouth fuck that
fart box.
Mouth fuck that shit cutter.
Tongue punch that fart box.
Fuck yeah.
And that brings us to our next subject, oddly enough. Rimming. Tossing the salad.
Analingus.
Analingus.
Ain't a little ding dong.
Also known as I need a cigarette in prison.
No, the price of cigarettes have gone up to 2 hand jobs a pack now.
Oh,
2
my.
hand
Well, but-
jabs and some ass eating.
Yeah, I was going to say, but how much rimming? I mean,
Rusty trombone.
hand job plus rimming equals cigarette.
One cigarette.
One cigarette.
They're hard to come by. The price is
If
whatever
any
you
of our
make it.
listeners in prison would like to weigh in on this subject,
Please email us.
We'd like to know what the going rate is for a cigarette in prison.
If you have access to the radio in prison, are listening to our show, and can email outward, please be
'Cause
discreet
every
and
prison has
vague,
computers.
but our email address is lordsirdaddyradio@gmail.com.
Yep.
For all of you not in prison that still want to weigh in on the subject,
tell us how many cigarettes you think it's worth.
Right.
Well, I guess it would all depend on how good of a job it was.
And who?
And the brand. I mean,
That's
I would
true.
definitely pay more hand jobs for an American Spirit than a Pall Mall.
Yeah, but
Oh,
how
yeah.
much ass eating would you do? I don't care about hand jobs.
What about a Winston?
Oh, I just got hit in the face with a bug.
If I'm getting a stogie, I'll eat some ass.
Lucky Strikes?
Ooh, unfiltered?
Of course.
I mean,
Oh, is there-
I might eat some ass for a Lucky
I'm going to
Strike.
need some
in prison.
cigars
Yeah.
for later. I'm just saying.
Wait, is that how I... Oh. What kind of cigars do you like?
Yeah.
You don't know?
You might even, for the right cigar, you might even get a rusty tuba.
She likes
rusty tuba?
a
What's a
rusty
rusty
tuba
tuba?
is analingus mixed with twiddling of the female bits. A rusty trombone is analingus mixed with a handy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now we know, and knowing is half the battle.
Yes.
Gee, I'm a
What if I get
hoe.
more cigars?
We could have a whole
That's
rusty
how-
orchestra.
You are a tuba player, after all.
Right?
I mean,
Yeah,
I
so
just
that's if
let
you're a
it
big
get
cigar fan.
extra
What's
rusty.
also really fun to do then is engage in the rusty tuba, eat a little butt while you're giving the Lewinsky with the cigar,
Oh.
and then you can twiddle the bits while you're smoking the cigar.
A
See?
rusty tuba Lewinsky?
rusty Lewinsky.
Rusty Lewinsky.
But you have to wear the blue dress while it's happening.
Only
Who
if,
has to wear the blue
only if you
dress?
come on it afterwards.
Whatever, whomever wants to wear the dress can wear the dress.
Yep.
I'm not-
I nominate Raven.
I don't want to wear
It's going to be a
dress.
big dress.
But
Well,
you'd
it's
be
kinda
so
like-
pretty.
Oh, you would be so pretty.
So ass
you also-
eating.
would
Would
you
one
also-
say that ass eating is something that is safe to do without protection? It's
I
a
don't
loaded,
know.
It's
How
a loaded
fluid-
question.
How
It's a
fluid
loaded-
bound are you to this person, and have they had the shits recently?
Random stranger you met at the bar.
When's the last time you
Dental
took a
dam.
shower?
Yeah, no.
Yep. So
Actually,
for-
I have to say, one of my sex ed teachers gave me the best advice for a dental dam ever.
Yeah.
She said that what you do is you go to the craft store and you get like one of the little needle point frames, just right size.
Yep.
Just get a small one.
Yep.
Use that to hold the dental dam. That
Yep.
way you don't have to try to hold it in place.
Exactly.
You just
Yeah.
pop it on whatever you want to do and go to town.
Aim it on that bunghole and go to town. Yep.
She
And
was
if for
recommending
those-
it for vaginal for
Yep.
all the lesbians in our class, but
Yep. So, correct. And if you don't happen to carry a dental dam with you, but you want to get into some emergency last-minute ass eating, it is also possible
Emergency.
to take a... Saran wrap kind of works.
Yeah,
My
it's
problem with
kinda-
Saran wrap is that I really like to tongue fuck hard and deep.
Yeah, it's
and
the
I'll
thing.
tear through that shit.
yeah, if you got a good strong tongue, you'll just
Yeah.
poke
So
right through it.
the other best way to do it is to take a condom, latex or otherwise, depending on what your proclivities are, allergies, and you can actually cut the condom fully extended out, cut it down the side, and you can stretch a condom out over the butthole just like a dental dam.
A glove will work like that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, but the also good thing about that is that if you cut it open, even if it's lubed, the inside is not necessarily always lubed. So
It depends.
yeah, it depends.
I mean, if you're into the taste of lube,
yeah, but that
you can mix it up with some of that Santorum.
Well, if you're getting ready to
Ah.
eat some ass, somehow I don't think the taste of lube is going to be throwing you off.
yeah,
that
but some of
much.
that
I'd rather taste lube than ass.
Yeah.
Right.
some of
Yeah.
that Naloxone 9 stuff kind of sort of
Makes your tongue go numb. I don't
Like
know.
a bad kid.
I like to suck on condoms on occasion. No, that's...
No.
I think
thought it
you
was
like
chewing
bubble gum.
gum.
I do love to eat me some ass, though.
Are we being coneheads and
Using it as gum and blowing bubbles, yes.
That's what I like to use buttholes for.
to
Gum.
blow bubbles.
chewing on?
Yeah.
Oh, those bubbles! You don't blow too many; they'll blow back.
And I nibble on the butthole a little.
Well,
All
but,
right,
I
so-
mean, you
so-
can get some, diseases from eating ass. I mean, if they're
Oh, yeah.
not necessarily clean, you can get a nice case of dysentery.
Well, even if they
from
are
it.
clean,
Oh,
Give me some of that dysentery.
There is
Give me
risk.
some of that dysentery.
Yeah. Like we were
Even
just talking
outside
about,
of STIs, yep, there is a not insignificant chance that you can get a E. coli infection off of eating the bunghole.
The bunghole.
What in the butt?
Yep. So before you eat the butt, take out that bottle of 90% isopropyl and just pour it all over the bar.
Well, make sure that you open it up real wide and
Spread
get
it
it
wide
inside.
Because you want to make sure they die. a little
Yeah.
bit.
Just die a little bit.
Well,
Side
it's
note,
the
the
lead up.
listeners,
want to
don't
die.
fucking do any
Yes.
of this.
It's the lead up to the transfusion.
It is because you need
is.
bacteria now.
Yes.
Schindler is called Schindler because he's full of it. Do not listen to what he says.
So on to the next subject, the fingering of anuses and the many things that are associated with it. Almost everyone nowadays has heard of the shocker.
Yep.
2 in the pink, 1 in the stink, where you use your index and middle finger in the vagina and your pinky in the asshole.
Hold on. Let's take a step back.
And don't
You forgot
forget thumb on the
basics.
The
You
basics.
forgot the basics. The
Basics.
teaser, which is just a single finger in the butthole. The pleaser, which is 2 fingers in the bunger. And then you graduate up to the shocker.
Which is 2 in the vagina and
Yep.
1 in the
Or the
butthole.
reverse if you're
But you might
depending
want
on
to
the
wash
position
your
you're in.
hands
Yeah, we
before
might
you go
want-
from one to the
Yeah.
other.
But
Just
then
saying.
there's also the rocker, index finger in the vagina, pinky in the butthole.
Rock on, bro.
There's the spocker, where you live long and prosper to those bits, index and middle in the vagina, and ring and pinky in the butthole. There's the showstopper, which is 3 in the butt, 1 in the vagina. So you've got your index in the vagina and then middle through pinky in the butthole. And then don't forget about the minivan. The minivan with 2 in the front, 5 in the back.
Oh boy. Jeez.
And if for
Heard
those
us
of
about
you
the minivan.
for those of you who are really adventurous, there is also
The semi. 2 in the front. Don't
I-
stop till you hit the elbow.
I was going to say the muff, where you stick each hand in one end and keep them warm.
Oh, yeah. Unless it's a corpse.
Oh, no, yeah. then
Just
they're
remember,
already
if you
cold.
can clap, there's something wrong.
Or something very right.
No, it's pretty much still just wrong.
Yay! So, with that brings us to anal fisting.
Mmm.
Everyone's favorite topic. Let's fist some buttholes.
Yep.
Also known as becoming a Muppet.
Uh,
It's
filling
not
up your
easy
puppet
being
hole.
green.
So we could technically do an entire show on fisting.
Mm-hmm.
Any
And we-
holes, right?
and
And we
we-
will.
and
We
we
will
will.
soon. But as just a quick little either intro to anal fisting, what are some of the reasons why people want to hold fist up their ass?
I don't know, ladies. Why do you want fists up your butt?
I don't.
I don't.
Yes, you do. I told you do.
You've been probably told.
I don't want
Yeah, I
fists
don't
up
want
my
fists
butt
up
either.
I'm good on that.
So I think less amongst biological females and more so amongst biological males, i.e., those of us who have been blessed and or cursed with the prostate, depending on how you look at it. I think anal fisting has a higher % chance of being pleasurable for those of us with prostates versus not. I'll throw that out there. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I know there are I don't know if it's significant, but there's a measurable percentage of women, biological females, who experience pleasure from anal sex. I mean, it is a fairly pleasurable erogenous zone. Mm-hmm. But for guys, we get the added bonus that we have a prostate.
Yeah.
And so, at least amongst bio males, there's the added benefit of, what's your favorite thing to do with a prostate?
Milk
Milk
it.
it.
Yep.
Milk it.
What's prostate milking, Lord?
I don't know. What's prostate milking, Schindler?
Well, it's
on.
when a female proceeds to put some fingers up a gentleman's butthole.
A gentleman.
A gentleman's.
Well,
and
Raven's out.
and you can feel the prostate, and you kind of give it a little.
So before you go any
Massage.
further
Come hit
and
her
continue on
motion.
with this, I would not say it's just a female. Guys can
Guys
milk
can,
each other's prostates.
guys can milk each other's prostates, but I guess I was speaking for myself.
Sure.
So, an individual, whomever it is, can stick some fingers up a genetic male, up their butt, and kind of play around with the prostate, and actually can cause a full-on ejaculation by just milking the prostate, by just kind of massaging it.
Stroking it, giving it
Yes.
that come hither moment. It's
Yes.
kind of like the male G-spot.
Hither.
Yep.
It is the male G-spot.
Yep.
Because a lot of times you can milk the prostate and not touch any other portion of their genitals, and they will have an orgasm. A
Yep.
rocking orgasm, just so
A
you know.
rocking. Like, knock your
Rocking.
socks off.
You,
Yes.
you will rock.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, if somebody sticks a finger up there, does that make me gay?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, it does.
Yep,
Yes,
that's
it-
actually you've just
Yeah.
revealed
That's the litmus test.
Yes.
Well, no, you've just revealed the secret of the entire gay movement.
Yes,
that if you
exactly.
let someone put a finger in your butt, it turns you gay.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yep.
But, and I try to tell people, like, you don't understand. If your girl or guy or whomever is going down in you and they stick a little finger in your butt and they milk that prostate, you are going to come like a rocket. And it will be the best orgasm that you have ever had. So
Makes you gay.
it makes you totally gay.
I don't know, Raven, have you ever tried this?
No, I've never actually gotten a blowjob with a finger in my ass.
Can I
Are
try
you
that?
serious? I have.
I'm afraid it'll bite my finger off.
No, it won't.
It's
It
got
won't.
teeth.
No,
Tell
it
you
doesn't.
what.
It
Ain't
tell you
a
what, it has
dentata.
teeth.
You stick a finger in my butt, you give me a blowjob. See? That
There you
works.
go.
Done and done. Let's
Done
make
and
this
done.
happen right
The
now.
accommodating throat.
Can we simulate that on the show right now?
Is everyone prepared for a simulated blowjob?
But that's the thing though that kind of always gets me. Oh well, if you stick a finger up there, you're automatically going to be considered gay.
Fuck
No.
that. If it
No.
feels good, do it.
Trust me.
I concur.
Trust me. From the people that I have done it to, it's like rocking. They all enjoyed it. Probably even more so than just plain old.
Heterosexual,
Yes.
homosexual,
Doesn't matter.
bi people for the ages have been doing this for thousands and potentially tens or hundreds of thousands of years.
Omnisexual.
As long as we've had butts.
Omnisexual. As long as we have butts, people have been trying to stick things in them.
Yes.
Sometimes succeeding, sometimes
Yes.
not so much.
Sometimes gonna try until it kills them.
The
Yep.
guy with the light bulb.
Oh
jeez.
yes.
Or the
Yes.
guy with the mason jar. I don't know how he didn't
Yeah.
die.
Yep.
That was a lot of blood.
Or the guy who put the
Small elephant.
No, they
Horse.
opened up their butt and they poured in hard drying cement or quick drying cement into their butthole.
Yeah, that's a good way to kill someone.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, I'm pretty sure that was used
Surprisingly-
as a torture mechanism.
Surprisingly, no, it was meant for a loving thing.
They wanted to
he's
take
trying
a plaster
he's
cast in
trying
his
to
asshole,
cast
or
his
what?
asshole. Yeah. Yep.
I'm not 100% sure what it was for, but
Casting of the asshole.
yes.
Yep, there's better ways to do that.
yes, but they obviously had to go to the hospital to get it removed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hooray.
Because
That's
intestines is a long, winding corridor of fun and excitement.
Yes. Or the guy who had the mag light in his butt. I don't know
I
how
like
he
to
managed
equate
put
it
that
to
in
the
there.
amusement park ride, the Tunnel of Love.
Welch's
It's
jelly
all
jars
love.
in so
I
much.
know. I know.
Red
It's also a
potato.
tunnel of
I
fudge.
don't know.
How do you get a red
Love and
potato in
fudge.
there?
Delicious
round.
man fudge.
All right, folks. On that note, we will conclude our Everything Anal show for this evening.
Would you say this was just an anal taster?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just an
Yes.
anal taster. There's so many more topics
In a
we
moose
can.
boosh.
We're just teasing the anus right now.
General overview of the
From
butt.
one bush to the
We
other
will
bush.
touch on many of these topics later on, but that's it for us tonight. This has been LSD Radio.
I'm the Lord.
I'm Sir,
I'm Daddy.
and be safe out there, all of you anal plunderers.
Like me some booty.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike, you know.
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
Oh, wow. You're actually wearing your hair down tonight.
Yeah, because I finally decided that I love my hair. I figured out the solution for my morning frizz, midday poof, and even next day bedhead. It's Frizz E's Secret Weapon Touch-Up Cream by John Frieda.
Well, you and your hair look flawless.
Flawless and touchable. Feel.
Oh.
See? It's soft. Smooth ends, no flyaways, shiny.
Well, I clearly need to get some because your hair looks amazing.
Frizz E's Secret Weapon, only from John Frieda.